All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Orange Bites, your meant to be daily NRL podcast where we go through the news from the last 24 hours and I give my thoughts on it and we just go through it. So, you know, you're not missing anything, and if for some reason you care about my opinion, you get to hear it. As always, as most of the time, shout out to Clarky, who I go to get most of this news, and shout out to my voice, which is just still not 100%. I almost reckon I sound better. Sound a bit croaky. News of the day, straight up. Cameron Munster named Queensland captain. In my opinion, that's the news of the day. I think it's surprising, to be honest. I thought Harry Grant or I thought Patrick Carrigan would have been captain. If not Patrick Carrigan, I thought it would have been Harry Grant. So I am surprised that it's Cameron Munster. Is he captain of Storm? I think maybe he is. Melbourne Storm. Because I know Harry Grant was. But then did Munster become... No, this says Harry Grant's captain. Weird. So Harry Grant is the Storm captain, but then Cameron Munster is the Queensland captain, even though they're both in the side. Billy Slater's rattled, man. Billy Slater's rattled. I'm not trying to take away from Cameron Munster. I think he'll do well as a captain. Obviously, in my opinion, when you're picking a State of Origin captain, you want to pick someone that's going to be there for a while. And obviously, Cameron Munster is, in my opinion, the first picked in the Queensland side. So it makes sense in that sense, but it's just interesting at the same time. I think Billy Slater is a bit rattled. There's not really... it's probably the biggest news of the day, but even then, it's probably not even that big of news. Cameron Munster's captain, but it's not even that shocking. As I said, I think Patrick Carrigan or Grant probably would have made more sense, but even, it's Cameron Munster. I'm not taking anything away from him. There were some changes that Billy Slater made to the Queensland side. And I'll tell you what, from now until Origin, a lot of this news is going to be Origin-based news. Let me try and find the changes. Sorry, give me one sec. I know you moved Patrick Carrigan to the bench and stuff, and he just seems kind of rattled. But let's go over it. Let's find it, and then we'll go over it. One second, Elite Podcasting. So he's moved Patrick Carrigan and Jeremiah Nanai to the bench. Trent Liera starts at lock, and Kurt Capewell starts on the edge. It's harsh on Jeremiah Nanai, obviously. And Billy Slater said the reason he did this was he wanted to move Patrick Carrigan to the bench to stop the impact of the New South Wales bench. And I guess essentially it just means to stop Spencer Leniu, who they were too scared to kick the ball to. But Max King's starting now, and he was off the bench. So it's not even the same New South Wales bench. But, maybe I'm giving too much credit to Max King. So clearly, I think the moral of the story is Queensland are very, very scared of Spencer Leniu because they've literally changed the makeup of their forward pack to stop Spencer Leniu on the bench, which is kind of crazy. Trent Liera starting in State of Origin is kind of crazy. Kurt Capewell, I know the day before, I said, that he probably does deserve his spot there because he's been playing good footy, but Jeremiah and I did such a good job in game one on Latrell Mitchell. I thought Nanai was easily one of Queensland's best players. And then he's just put to the bench. And there is not a single rugby league team on the planet that Patrick Carrigan should come off the bench on. He is a starting player. He's either your starting lock or your starting prop. Or even start him in the back row. I don't care. Patrick Carrigan should be starting. Billy Slater's actually lost his mind. And then there's technically one prop on the bench. Patrick Carrigan can be a prop, but he's not an out-and-out prop. You have Kurt Mann, not a prop. Lindsay Collins, prop. Nanai, back rower. Patrick Carrigan, lock. Queensland running a one-prop bench, but then they're trying to stop the impact of the New South Wales bench. Put Horsburgh in, bro. Trent Liera shouldn't even be there. Horsburgh should be there. It's a bad team. It is a bad team. Queensland are going to get swept. I'm not even being a biased New South Wales fan when I say that. I'm just being a guy looking at a rugby league team and just knowing that team isn't good enough to win a game of Origin. It's just not a good team. It just isn't a good team. I just don't understand. Has Billy Slater actually lost the plot? Maybe he has. So I'm just trying to find. Here it is, the news. Boring. What else do we have? Boring. What about Viliami Kikau? This isn't even in front of me, but Viliami Kikau didn't get suspended for the thing on Moses. I don't even know if I talked about that in Up the Dogs yesterday. Viliami Kikau was sin-binned, obviously, in the game yesterday for his hit on Mitch Moses where he touched Mitch Moses' legs. He was fined, and the Bulldogs actually took it to the judiciary and fought it, which is good to see that they've learnt a lesson from the whole Preston suspension thing. They've learnt to actually fight fines and smaller suspensions, and it's paid off because he was found not guilty. So why was he sin-binned? It's just such a joke. I'm glad that common sense has prevailed, and I really hope this is a line in the sand where you look back at, the time Kikau fought his charge and got let off as, hey, you're allowed to touch the kicker. Don't hit him high, don't hit him late, and don't hit him in the air. But otherwise, you can touch the kicker. You can try and tackle the kicker. There's nothing wrong with it. So I'm really glad that he got off. Not even because I'm a Bulldogs fan, but like the Luai one as well. It's just not a penalty, yet alone a sin bin. Penalty at most. The kick-out one, I can live with a penalty. The Luai one shouldn't have even been a penalty. The kick-out one, I can live with a penalty because, yeah, he did touch the leg, all right? He did touch the leg. There's no denying that. He didn't play at the leg. He didn't even intentionally touch the leg. Like, he made an effort to withdraw from the contact. And, like, he stuck his arm out to make the tackle. And the impact with the legs was so incidental. Like, it just wasn't a sin bin. Penalty at most, maybe not even a penalty. So, yeah, as an NRL fan, I'm glad that, that he got off because it really looked like the game was gone. But the game's back a little bit. Another big bit of news today. Taylor May has signed with the West Tigers on a train and trial. Now, this means he's available for selection immediately because it's after round 10 or round 11, whatever the rule is. Yeah, like I don't want to comment too much on it because it's just like such a touchy topic almost. But like, I don't know how I feel about Taylor May being let back into the NRL. I understand the charges were dropped on him, but it wasn't even his first offense. And like he was stood down. Panthers ripped up his contract. And yeah, I don't know. Like he wasn't found guilty. He was also not found not guilty. The charges were dropped. So, I mean, who else but the Tigers to sign him though, right? Like, is anyone surprised that that's who signs him? Like, such a desperate club. And obviously his brother's there as well, so it makes sense. And it is only a training trial. But like, realistically, it's Taylor May. If we're looking at it from just a footballer, he's a good footballer, and obviously he's going to get a deal after the training trial. Like, that's just obvious. Like, it's not like he's been out of the game for 4 years. He's easily going to be good enough to be in a top 30. So, yeah, I don't know. And like a lot of people are saying, well, Ezra Mims allowed back in. Yeah, but Ezra Mims shouldn't be allowed back in either. That's not the point. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that one. Dylan Brown got charged and like suspended 1 game for touching Jared Sutton. Now, I hate the Eels and I hate Jared Sutton, but there is no way in the world that Dylan Brown should be suspended for that. It was, once again, super incidental, complete accident. Jared Sutton stopped in his way. What do you want Dylan Brown to do? This is a rugby league cliche, but he literally cannot disappear. And if a ref is going to stop in his path, Dylan Brown didn't change his line. He pulled up. He did everything he could to not run into Jared Sutton. It was completely Jared Sutton's fault with no game awareness. Shock me that Jared Sutton has no game awareness. And then Dylan Brown gets suspended a week for accidentally running into a referee that stopped in his path, and he did everything he could to not run into him. The game's gone. I know I just said the game isn't gone and that it's kind of back, but the game is gone if Dylan Brown's getting suspended for that. That's not a suspension. He's done nothing wrong. And I hate the Eels, and I hate Jared Sutton, but he did nothing wrong. Oh, the game is gone. Just ridiculous. Thomas Gilbert's out for the rest of 2025, which is heartbreaking for the Dolphins. He's undergone surgery to repair a labrum tear in his shoulder, and the Dolphins medical staff have ruled him out for the rest of 2025. So that is A big blow. That is a big blow for the Dolphins, but they've got a decent squad, so I'm sure they'll be all right. Oh, damn. Daniel Saifidi has also been ruled out for the season. This is the first time I've read this, with shoulder surgery as well. So that's 2 of their forwards that are ruled out. Now that is a double blow. That's crazy. Like, once again, I think the Dolphins will be able to manage without him because they have been the past couple of weeks. But even just for the long-term effect on their season, they are huge blows. Huge blows. A couple of Cowboys players suspended, Viliami Vailea and John Bateman. Oh my goodness. I think this was already confirmed, but scans have confirmed ACL damage for Max Plath, and he'll visit a specialist to see if they can rehabilitate it or if it's season-ending surgery. So that could be Plath, Safidi, and Gilbert all out for the season for the Dolphins. Far out. That is rough. Tamale dislocated his kneecap and he's out for 10 to 12 weeks. That's heartbreaking for him, and I don't want to make this about Supercoach, but that's big news for Supercoach. I don't own him, but that's crazy. Anything else? Oh, I'm going to have to insert an image, and I'm 100% going to forget to, but the Broncos, the Broncos submitted a logo to be trademarked, and the logo sucks. And it's not confirmation that it's going to be the new Broncos logo. It could just be like a corporate logo. But here, like, this is it. You're probably not going to be able to see it well. I'll try and remember to include it, but maybe you can zoom in on that. I made it, I made an effort. I'm looking at it. First of all, it looks like a chess piece. Second of all, pardon me. Second of all, it looks like the University of Newcastle's logo. Third of all, looks like a Carlton Drought logo. And fourth of all, I would assume it isn't going to be their team logo and that it's more of a corporate logo, or maybe they're starting a university, or maybe they're starting an alcohol company. I don't know. I refuse to believe that this is going to be the Broncos logo, like it's on their jerseys and stuff. I just refuse to believe, because it's such a downgrade. It's so basic. It doesn't even look like a football team logo. Even like the shield shape with the Bronco just doesn't look right. Like, there's just no way that's their logo. I completely refuse to even entertain the idea that that is going to be the Broncos' actual logo. It's got to be like corporate-y or something like that. That is not going to be the Broncos' logo. I just refuse to believe that. It's just not going to be. The Tigers are reportedly in contract talks with Adam Reynolds, which is like not new news. Laurie Daly said Hamole Olakwadu was left out of the Blues squad because he's expecting the birth of his child, which is completely fair and very understandable. Like, if you're sitting here being, knocking that, then what's wrong with you? Especially, he's only in the squad. It's not like he's skipping the game. He's skipping Blues camp, which he's been part of. So, and Keon comes straight in. So it's like, no loss. Mal Meninga has revealed Apisai Coruscant is one of the first recruitment targets for the Bears. I know they've said Tino as well is going to be a target, so definitely some good targets there. I don't think Api Coruscant will leave the Tigers, if I'm being honest. As crazy as that sounds, I think guys like him and Lua are in there they want to fix that club, so I don't see him leaving. I can see Tino going to Perth. But not Appy. I don't think Appy's going to Perth. And that's pretty much all the news for today, to be honest. I don't think I'm missing anything crazy. Obviously, like, you have team list stuff and that, but I don't think, like, by the time you listen to this, that's nothing new. Like, you would have heard all the changes and whatnot. I'll just go over it quickly just in case. Tom Trebojevic is back. Jason Salve's back. And Hopewadi's out. So that is big news with Turbo coming back. Oh, this is massive news. Sam Walker's back as well. His first NRL game since his ACL injury. And I believe, I'm going to double check this because I don't want to give misinformation, but obviously you can check yourselves. But I'm pretty sure Sandon Smith got benched and Savala's held onto his spot. Yeah, Savala's at 6 and Sam Walker's at 7. I've got Savala in Supercoach I bought him as enough in the second row position, and I went him instead of I've like paid an extra like 30K for him instead of just someone that doesn't play. Because I was like, hey, at least I can sell him if I absolutely have to at some stage. And now he's made like a couple $100,000. So it was actually a good trade. Cody Walker's out. Jackson Hastings is back for his first game of the season. He's at 5'8". Cogger's halfback and Sharp is fullback with Ponga out. Lockie Gavin's named to start at 5'8" because Burden's 18th man in Origin, which I ranted yesterday. I think I ranted about that on Up the Dogs. I'm just going to pretend I did so I don't have to again. And if I didn't, it's like I don't have to put you guys through that anyway. Toby Sexton's halfback as well. Iro is out. Mulatalo's back. And Hiroti, relevant for my Supercoach, is at centre. So I'm glad about that. But also hope Iro gets well soon. He was also in my Supercoach. So it's not like I'm, celebrating that he's injured. I literally hurt me in Supercoach. So it's just, I also have Hiroti. So, Tomalalo's back, O'Donnell's back, and Talangi's back, all for the Cowboys. Josh Paxton is to debut for the Titans, a 26-year-old back rower, which is cool. Sloan's back because Tui Pelote obviously got injured. Stone's back for the Dolphins. Averillo's fullback and Fagai's centre. Fungai. And that's pretty much all the major team list news. So there you go. My camera just died, but I literally said, that was the end of the podcast. So I'm just going to, if you're on YouTube, obviously Spotify's unaffected. If you're on YouTube, you'll be looking at a black screen right now. And I'm just letting you know the camera died. But I have to end the podcast with an Up the Dogs.